What's good, y'all? Y'all rocking with the MVP, and again, you always know where to find me doing the innovative twist, and you know they can't miss. So I know, remember from our last episode, we had Miss Dr. Sandra Robertson come through. Speaking of her book, Childhood Scars, bestseller, get it right now. You got to. When I'm talking about she coming back too, we doing a little trauma talk, talking about getting the book, and I got to read up on it a little bit. We got some questions, y'all. And if you ain't read this book, you want to hear some of these, what we about to discuss, because it's going to give you insight of what the book's talking about. So again, y'all, we here with another one. And again, come on now. I got some ladybug in there. Again, come on now, we're professional. We got a doctor here today, y'all. So we talking about chapter 7. It was in regards to suffering. It said, this is some of my notes I got here. Regardless of what stage of life you are in, you want clarity about it. Another note, understand your true self, which is necessary for a sense of self-identification. Asking questions like, who am I challenges you to go inward and examine the real you, your values, beliefs, and intentions. Everyone's life is delusional by reality resulting from misunderstandings and misinterpretations of the real world. Suffering is mental and emotional pain. Through suffering, you discover the real you. You emerge a different person, stronger and wiser. Through suffering, you find out what you want and don't want in life. Oh my God, through suffering, you make better decisions and carefully choose better friends and partners. Insecurities occur when you believe that you are the only one going through or experiencing pain. What we believe to be life is our illusion of identity. That one right there hit me. Like this is what we.
Yes.
Gotcha, man.
Repeat that again. Repeat it.
That one right there. What we believe to be life is our illusion of identity.
Right. That's right.
That's like this. I'm talking. This is some of my notes I got from the chat. This chapter really hit me hard, y'all. This one had me crying.
So tell me how it hit you hard, because you got a lot of good notes from it.
Yeah, a lot of good notes. Because really, honestly, I can say I've been suffering a lot. Yes. Off of a decision I made, I felt that was the best decision at the time.
That's right.
So it caused a lot of suffering in my life, like that I would not expect.
That's right.
I didn't understand, why I was going through. I'm thinking, the only one going through that until I started talking to my other friends and like, whoa, hold on, like, you're like, man, I'm going through child support. I'm on that right now, bro. Right. She got my kids. I can't see them. I'm like, damn, that's tough.
That's right.
It just really spoke to me. Like, when did you realize that everybody suffers? Like, when did that really hit you?
Through coaching a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And what first hit me, because I've been a college professor for 35 years. And God bless me where I was program chair, assistant to the dean per se. Mm-hmm. And actually interacting with students and hearing the students' stories. I learned a lot from that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, I'm not the only person suffering from childhood scars. There are other people suffering as well. And as I start listening to a lot of the trauma that they experience, it's a lot of traumatic experiences. Mm-hmm. Now, one thing that people don't understand is that we're in a world of many people that experiences a lot of the things that we do. Mm. So everyone feels as though I'm the only person. Well, you are the only person experiencing this because this is your experience. Mm-hmm. This is your life trauma, your life situation. Mm-hmm. And every action you take, there will be a reaction, whether it's positive or negative. Mm-hmm. And so it's so important to really think through the action that you're about to take. Mm-hmm. And always remember that the action you take, it's going to be a reaction. And the reaction is out of your control.
Yeah, that would be right
there.
And
so a lot of times we feel as though since we're in control of making a decision, which is the action, that we're going to be in control of the reaction. Mm. No, you're not. You're only in control of the action. The reaction is beyond your control. Mm-hmm. Especially if it involves another person. Mm-hmm. Because no two people are alike. Even twins, they have a lot of similarities, but there are some differences because we all process things differently. We all have our own minds, and we all process things differently. And so I was just counseling someone the other day, and she was having a difficult time with her husband of 30 years that they got a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
She wasn't ready for that, because when we go into certain situations, we feel like it's a lifetime, or when we make the decision to end it. And a lot of times that's where we make our mistakes, because we think because we're in control of the decision, that we're in control of the reaction. And a lot of times we're not. And so I'm glad you were able to really get a lot. The chapter talks about the psychological effects of pain and suffering. Pain is the action. It's the action. The reaction is suffering. And suffering can last a lifetime because it's a psychological disorder. Any action that I take, if it turns out to me to be negative. Now, this is my interpretation of the action. And so I can start suffering that, just really dealing with that, because I have no control of the reaction, but I do have control of how long I'm going to do what? I'm going to respond to the reaction, which we call suffering. And it's a mental disorder. So you can't tell someone, let's say that someone died in the family, you can't say you suffered too long. That is not your place to say that. You can help that person to be able to come to reality that that person is no longer here. And so how do we live beyond that attachment that you had with that person? And therefore, let's try to help them through the process. But I've heard a lot of people say, you've suffered too long. You have no right to tell someone that, because everyone is going to come to the resolution of their situation on their own timing. You can help them, but you can't heal no one. The person has to take the steps that is involved in the healing process. And that's the reason why you're seeing these two books in front of you. The first book actually talks a lot about trauma related, and it's really these books are really a life reality. It's opening you up to life. It's opening you up to a different thought process. And then the workbook is helping you with the healing process. So if you just had a breakup, because a breakup can really damage you and cause a lot of different side effects, because now it's like here you are attached, and now all of a sudden it's no longer that attachment. And that's going to cause I'm not going to say long, I'm exaggerating that, but that's going to cause some time to heal from that separation. And so the workbook is giving you activities to do to help you come into oneness with yourself. Because a lot of times when we're in relationships, we lose ourselves because we're too busy trying to please the other person and trying to stay in a relationship when that person wants out. And so when the person finally makes up their mind that they are going to leave, you're not ready for it. Sometimes people say, well, just stay another month, I'll be okay, another 2 months. And so all you're doing is prolonging the inevitable.
I can't remember what you said, because remember you said you're so caught up with your needs getting fulfilled that you don't even see that your partner's not getting fulfilled.
Exactly.
But you only thinking of y'all, even though, because you putting your needs being fulfilled onto them.
Let's explore that. Okay, you and I, MVP, we come into a relationship. And we're in a relationship now based on need. So every relationship is based on a need. And so since it's based on a need, I want to get fulfillment for my need. And that's what we call need fulfillment, that my needs are being met through you. Now, the problem occurs is that my needs are being met through you, and you're doing everything that you can to accommodate my need. And if I'm not accommodating your need, then it's what? It's a void of need.
Yeah, void of need, yep.
Because you don't come in, when you come into a relationship with me, you have a need and I have a need. And where we fail in relationships is to communicate that.
Oh, yeah.
I may come into a relationship with you just because I need a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Have no intentions of this relationship going any further than other than I need a boyfriend,
Yep.
and you fit the bill. I could need a boyfriend for various reasons. I could need a boyfriend totally for companionship, that when I go out, I have someone on my shoulder, and my girlfriends can see that I am in a relationship with someone.
Yeah.
But now I'm not serious about anything other than just that appearance.
Mm-hmm.
So many, and you have to get my book. I'm actually writing a book on relationships right now.
Oh, yeah.
And so that's coming out here probably in June. I'm currently writing it. I don't want to say a specific time, and because sometimes you get a little writer's block that can last a couple of weeks,
It can
and
happen,
and then sometimes, like with this book, I wrote it in 6 months. But the relationship book, I have so much to say. It's taken a little longer than I had anticipated.
And that's a good. I know we need that one.
But yeah, we all. I'm writing and finding out so much about it, about relationships. But one of the things is need fulfillment. And so where we suffer is that someone's need was fulfilled and they no longer need me.
Mm.
See, once my need, okay, you and I are doing podcasts together.
Mm-hmm.
So once I come to say, well, okay, I no longer need you. It's a couple of things that you're going to actually suffer.
Oh, yeah.
And so vice versa, And so I have a need, and I have a time limit for need fulfillment.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't discuss that with you, you think this is a lifetime relationship.
Yep.
And let me tell you something right now. There are no lifetime relationships. All relationships are seasonal. That means that it's a time limit to every relationship. We have a mental time limit and we have a physical time limit. And physical really is death. And so a lot of people say, well, death is leaving this earth. Death comes in the relationship when it's no longer life. It's no longer life. And so what do I mean by that? It's no longer a need that I need from you. So that's death. What is death? It is a separation of union. And so now we have separated, and this person can physically leave the earth, or mentally we can depart. So relationships, when a death comes in, it's a mental death because the person physically still is on the earth.
Still is on earth.
And the mental death is what you suffer even when the person leaves the earth. So mentally, we have to get control of ourselves because no relationship lasts forever. Every relationship have a timeline. And that is what I really experienced the most trauma in my life, because my family and I are going to be family to the day I depart or they depart. Even when they depart, they're still my sister or my brother who has left the earth. You with me? So it's still a union in my mind. And so if we are dating or we are just friendships, there are time limits to friendship based on need. So if I need you for 6 months, after those 6 months, it's death comes into our relationship.
Oh, yeah, that's it, yeah.
It's no longer a union of the two. And if we can go into every relationship with that in mind, knowing that it is a time limit. And see, a lot of times people, things have to happen that causes trauma to get you to let go of the relationship.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, that's the one right there.
Yeah. Because you're not going to, if I need my needs for 6 months and you only need your needs met with me for a month, I'm going to try to hold on to you as long as I possibly can.
Now you have an unhealthy attachment.
That's an unhealthy attachment. And so anytime you enter into a relationship and we both enter with need, but if that person leaves, you got to know someone else is there. Gotcha. But if you're busy taking care of your own needs, he's a compliment, not a necessity.
Wow.
He's a compliment, not a necessity. And you have to know that You have to communicate. But it is a mindset that has been set that when we hear the words "to death do us part" in the marriage vows, we immediately, and I know some pastors is gonna get on here and argue with me about that. We are no longer, when death comes in, it comes in and we're affected mentally when that person depart. I don't care if it's they leave the earth or they leave the relationship. Mentally is where we're affected.
Yeah, mental departure, that's more major. Like I said, that's for a lifetime.
That's
because
right.
Once you take somebody out of your world and your mind, then you can't ever put them back in there.
That's right.
That's why I give people a lot of chances before they get to that point. Because once I take you out of this,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying?
And a lot of people say, well, once I'm done, I'm done. And I just heard you say that. I want you to always be open to knowing that the relationship served its purpose for as long as you were in union. And although the outcome was not what you expected, you did get something out of it. Oh, yeah. And what it does is those relationships that end abruptly without never ends abruptly. There are always signs that the relationship is ending. And the signs is you see a disconnect, you see a behavior change, and so you ignore it. And you should really, and I know I've heard a lot of people say you can't confront everything. Yes, you should. My life depends on me knowing where you are with me at all times. So that I'm ready for the shift. I'm not coming into a relationship with you to end it. I'm coming into the relationship with us to be able to explore. And so even in the exploration is a timeline. So how does marriages last 15, 60 years? Through making sure that you communicated and have similar mindsets. Similar mindsets. When I say similar mindsets, it's where you both really get there and come into oneness with one another. And how many of you have been married over 30 and 40 years and you maybe earlier than that, and you start thinking alike. Those mindsets have come into oneness. Although you have different childhood, the way you were brought up in childhood, once you live with that person, same thing with childhood, you start forming that oneness and that connection, and you start kind of thinking alike.
You even start looking alike at some point.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Yeah, I feel like when you've been with somebody a long period of time, you're going to get traits on them, same as with your mom or with your parents.
Exactly.
And I remember reading the book, it was talking about that helps build your identity because at the beginning, you only know your family.
That's all you know.
That's all you know. That's your foundation. So that's where your beliefs going to come from.
That's right.
And also, again, how it's going to shape you into who you're going to be.
And we're shaped into the image of other people. When I was brought up, everything, I seen my mom and my dad, how they behaved and the things that they did and the things that they cooked and things of that nature. And when I got married, I started doing the same thing. Well, he was used to different menu choices. And so I had to learn that I had to expand in order to be able to take care of his needs. He wanted me to be a little bit more creative. I was just cooking shrimp Creole and spaghetti because my family loved it. They would come in groves to get my shrimp Creole and spaghetti. Well, he was like, I don't want that every day. And not that my mom cooked it every day. That's where I got the most attention.
That might be that signature dish.
Yeah, exactly. And so as when I got married, and I didn't take the time to get to know him as well as I should have. And the dating process, and that's with dating, and then you get to the different stages of dating to marriage. We dated, went to the second stage, and then next thing you know, he went off to the military. I went to college, and then the next thing you know, voila, we're in a union together, and it's different. It's different. He started off and he did college as well, but still, it was a difference there. So you need to really learn your partner and things of that nature. But yeah, it's going to be some trauma in there, and it's going to be trauma in the relationship when you don't come into oneness. And some people say, well, I never fought. Me and my husband never fought, and that is the ideal relationship you want to be in. You can have difference of opinions, but ego comes in when the fighting starts. You can have difference of opinion, but you can have difference of opinion and respect one another till the voices is never elevated.
That one right. That's one right there. You can have a difference of opinion, but it ain't got to be a battle.
No.
It's all about understanding what their point of view and your point of view.
That's right. And you should both, if you are mature enough, allow the other person to express their, how they feel about the situation. And they have to allow you. But what happens is egos come in.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to win.
I want to you battling each other.
And so that can come from totally different perspectives. One is from childhood, where you, like myself, my mother didn't let me voice my opinion in a lot of things. So when she said something that, and I'm trying to explain to her, she didn't want to hear it. So then I can get into a relationship, and I did, and my husband didn't want to hear it. So I'm screaming to the top of my lungs so that he can hear. How many know he done drowned out the noise? And vice versa. First, he wasn't that type of confrontational person, and then over the years, he became just to get his word in, because I was determined that I was going to win. Why? Because I lost every battle for 18 years.
Yeah.
So I'm going to win these battles.
You can win these battles, yeah.
I'm grown. I'm going to win these battles.
That's right.
And I lost at every angle, because the minute the confrontation gets physical, you've lost the battle.
No, you lost the battle, yeah.
You should be able to talk to anyone without extreme hollering and screaming and using profanity and etc. When someone curses me, they curse me. You with me? It's going to be hard to recover from word choices. So you have to be careful in relationships with the word choices that you use. And I'm going to tell you something, MVP, that I learned. When you fall in love, you're not going to curse that person.
Oh yeah, that was in the book. That was in the book. When you really love somebody, you're not going to mistreat them in any way.
No, you're not. Because when you fall in love, you come into oneness with that person. You come into oneness. And so you're going to protect what you love.
That's right.
So I remember having an argument and the word choices that I used, but when I fell in love, I could not do it. Because I couldn't hurt what I loved. So if someone is cursing you and using profanity and saying all these things to you, they're not in love. That is an attachment.
That's a difference. I got to know the difference between attachment and that love. And also what you said about harsh words. Harsh words last a lifetime.
Yes, they do. That goes into that unconscious mind. And so and that's what trigger you, because it's in the unconscious mind. So, but it's in the mind. Unconsciously, you're not thinking of it at that moment. To think of it at that moment is the preconscious mind. But we're always in a conscious state. Like right now, I'm conscious of what I'm saying right now. But the unconscious mind is in the back of my mind. It's in my mind. And so if a familiarity comes in, I'm going to do what? I'm going to bring it consciously,
come to the
and I'm going to do what? Deal with it.
Yeah, that's because, again, like you said, when it comes to pain, it's either two ways. Like you said, you're either going to go outward or you internalize it.
That's right.
And that's when you internalize, you put it again somewhere in the file where somebody say something, wake you up.
That's right. That's where triggers come from. That's how we say when you're triggered because that unconscious mind is bringing to consciousness of something that may have happened 10 or 20 years ago. You never get rid of your mind, the thoughts that come into your mind. They go where? It's like, just like a computer, they're stored data.
I tell people all the time, it's like I said, your mind is working like that. It's like file cabinets.
That's right.
You got stuff in places where like something happened, it's gonna trigger something.
That's right.
That's why most people, that's where intelligence comes in.
That's right.
Because you got like knowledge that you soak in from reading them books. You put it in the file cabinets, and when you take that test, it comes back to you.
That's right.
Same thing with triggers and things of that nature. Work the same way.
And so how do I handle triggers? you need to heal from them.
You got to heal, yep.
And what is healing? Healing is management of emotions.
Mm.
That's what healing is, management of emotions.
Mm.
One of my friends called me the other day, said, well, you're kind of contradictory because you said in your workbook that I can be healed, but then you're telling me that I'm never healed from a childhood trauma.
Oh, yeah.
And so let me expound on that, because a lot of people may feel the same way.
Mm-hmm.
We do heal by managing our emotions.
Mm.
That means that I'm no longer reactionary to something that I have managed, that we call heal.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to make sure of that. So the book is going to help you heal, manage your emotions.
Mm.
And when you manage your emotions, you become more conscious of what you're going to say and how you're going to react.
Mm. Yep, because again, that's giving you that clarity.
That's right.
Yeah, because when you get that's become emotional maturity. When you know what emotions to express, and you know if a trigger happened, you know, now I'm not going to express anger. We heal from that because we manage emotion from that situation.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Because when you express anger, you got a reaction that was out of your control.
Yep. And now you don't know what can happen.
And so now when I know that I'm human, when I know that the confrontation is getting ready to get physical, why? Because I'm getting ready to respond to the triggers that conversation is bringing. I have to think about the reaction if I go forward with my behavior. Mm-hmm. And that's why a lot of people get fired every day on the jobs. Mm. You know, people that used to work for me, and of course you're going to have difference of opinion. People have their opinion. You have to be respectful, and depending on if I'm saying something that you don't want to hear, you want to get assertive and aggressive with it. And so then at that point, I have to make a decision. Do I want to continue to allow this behavior to grow, and that the disrespect is going to get worse? Because what you tolerate, you give permission to. Mm. And so here it is, your behavior is getting out of control. I'm tolerating that for that moment. Mm-hmm. Now, if I don't do something about it, it's going to do what? It's going to increase. Mm-hmm. That means when I say increase, the respect is going to go lower and lower and lower. And so a lot of people get fired because of the behavior. So I have to think about it. I have to think about my reaction. Because once I react, I have no control of the outcome of that reaction. Mm-hmm. No control of it.
No control.
But I can manage it before it gets out of control.
You can, exactly, before it gets to that point.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
I can get triggered and say, no, I'm not going to say that. No, I'm not going to react in that manner. I'm controlling the behavior. 99.9%, when I consciously say, no, I'm not, I win.
Oh, yeah, you win. Ooh, that's a good one right there. When you constantly say, no, I'm not, you win.
I win.
That's right.
I win. That doesn't necessarily mean that person or the situation changed. I win because I didn't further internalize it.
That's,
Yep. You with me?
Yep.
To where it's now getting to a level beyond any control. So I have, yes, I mean, it's times, no one is going to go through life and not be triggered at some point. I mean, I could be in traffic and go, come on!
Yeah, fast.
You know, and get my adrenaline going and things of that nature, instead of calming down and say, you know what, this is 5:30 traffic.
Yep.
Deal with it. Listen to some jazz music, since that's what you like to listen to. Now that you can YouTube and listen to something on YouTube,
that's right.
As long as it's not something that's going to totally distract you.
Yeah.
But get your mind off of the situation.
We can get so caught up in the situation.
You can get so caught up in the situation. And you're in control as long as you don't let the situation control you. Because everything is going to work out for the good. And I've lived long enough to know that if a person has done something and I react to it, they win.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't just react to it at that moment. I'm going to bed at night. I'm internalizing this thing. I'm thinking about it. You know why? Because I'm now in a state of shock that I'm not controlling this situation.
It drive you crazy.
But had I controlled it by not responding to something that was beyond my control, a person can say whatever they want to. If you holler at me, I'm gone at that point. I'm out of it. I'm not going to deal with you. I don't believe that you should holler at me in any situation, and that comes from childhood.
Yep.
So if you holler at me, you totally disqualified for any future communication with me whatsoever.
Oh yeah, whatsoever.
I'm not I'm not going to tolerate. I'm not going to tolerate being called a bitch, and I'm not going to tolerate being ever called screamed at. You're not going to use those curse words.
That's when that's arguing people that you're smarter than.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? That's when you gotta get yourself out of the situation.
That's right.
Nobody's going to win because they're not going to understand your point of view.
That's right.
And they're too emotionally unstable to understand what you're talking about.
Well, we're playing tug of war. We're trying to control one another, and we're trying to see who can control the other person. And no one is controlling anyone.
That's right.
I mean, you may win, you may think you've won because you think that you have changed my behavior, but I've learned through parenting that I can tell my child to do something, he can do it, but doesn't necessarily mean that I changed anything. He's doing it because he has to. But when he gets into a position that he doesn't have to, he's not going to do it.
That's right.
So I didn't control anything. I controlled that moment.
Yeah, I like to say, because in regards to kids, you can't control them. You more so, I like to say, I guide them. Because it's more so, you're going to choose your own action and what you want to do in life.
That's right.
I'm just here to let you know, look, if you do this is going to happen from my experience.
That's right.
But I can't control the outcome. It could be something else, but this is what possible could happen.
And one thing in parenting, I like what you just said because that's how I raised Greg. But I also let him know that this is the reaction you're going to get if you take this action. So think about it before you do it, because it will be a reaction. And unfortunately for you, I'm in control of the reaction.
That's right.
I'm in control of the reaction. So anything else you want to ask?
Oh, yeah. Come on now. Like I said, now we're moving on to the next chapter. Right?
Okay.
Let me make sure I got everything covered. Number 7, let me see.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this was another one that stood up to me just in regards to getting chapter 7. It was saying that life is constantly changing, and these changes cause stress.
Yes.
And some changes are unavoidable.
Let me give you a good example about the job. When you're learning a different software program, you're so used to one, and so now here they come up. It's like because of technology, we are evolving and we are growing, and so we are constantly changing. Like when I was younger, the world is not the same that it was 5-10 years ago. We're evolving because technology is evolving, so the world is going to always be changing. Embrace change because it helps you grow. With change comes growth. And I don't think people look at that. And I know it's times I didn't look at it because I had got comfortable and I'm going to say somewhat lazy with the old system because I had mastered it. Now I'm challenged to learn a new system and I don't want to because I have become so comfortable with the other. And that even can be applicable to relationships.
It's interesting. You said it. I hear a lot of they say the baby boomers.
Yes.
A lot of them say the same thing. Because we moving from the industrial age to the information age.
That's right.
Where everything is accessible.
That's right.
So it's different. Like I said, it's like you mastered that game, but now you in a whole nother game.
That's
hold on, now you got a whole other different set of rules.
That's right. That's right. And when you a baby boomer, you're so used to doing things your own way, and so now you're challenged. And some people say, "I'm just not going to learn that." Well, I keep myself around young people like you to help me to grow and evolve, because if you don't grow and evolve, what's the next thing that's going to happen? Death.
That's it.
So you want to stay as vibrant as you possibly can. We all have an expiration date. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
But live your life to the fullest.
So about that purpose, you got to find your purpose in life. And
That's
what's
right.
going to motivate you.
And your purposes in life is going to come across with, you're just going to get that epiphany like I did that says, oh, I like this and I want to pursue it.
Yep.
This I feel good about this. is. Everyone has something they feel good about. You know, my son, you know, he went into the rap end of his career, you know, pursuing a rap career. First, I was totally opposed to it because I had in my mind that he was going to be a doctor and a medical doctor and this, that, and the other. And that's what I felt that I had in my mind. He chose a totally different career path. So we had tug of war then. But he had his own mindset, and I was not going to be able to change that. And now I'm proud of him that he's exploring the direction that he feels most comfortable with doing. And that's what we have to do as parents.
But that's again, you making that attachment healthy.
Yes, I am.
Because that divide y'all had made it unhealthy.
That's right.
Again, you balancing your point of view and his point of view.
And it's his life. Not my life. It's his life.
But that comes to again, like you can't control what someone is gonna do.
That's right.
Or how they might, if you give them something, how they gonna react to it.
That's right.
You just never know.
That's right.
But you come into a situation knowing that.
That's right.
You'll be better, prepared for the outcome.
That's right. That's right.
And that's what we need to do more in, like you said, in life is be prepared for the outcome by knowing that in certain situations it's gonna be a time limit.
That's right.
And then, well, pretty much every situation, it's a time limit. No matter what relationship is, how long you've been together, it's a time limit.
That's right.
And you can get a good idea when it's coming to that time.
That's right.
It's signs.
Well, yeah, because trauma comes in. Trauma comes in the relationship when it's time for the relationship to change. And so now we want to set boundaries. Boundaries should be set at the beginning of every relationship, not in the middle part or toward the end, not when trauma comes in, because it's going to be hard for a boundary to stick when trauma comes in. Because that person, you've already tolerated the behavior. Because once I tolerate the behavior, I give permission to it, and that person is going to keep strategizing until they get what they want, because they once got it. That's why I said in the last video with you, keep your mouth closed.
Keep your mouth closed.
Because we're our own worst enemies. We talk too much. We tell too many things. And I'm saying this out of love because I did it. You know, I told too many of my girlfriends and family members, my business. And then I looked up and everything that I was saying that was trauma to me, they were doing it to me. They learned Sandra's love language when it really wasn't a love language. They learned my trauma and they inflicted the trauma. And one day I came to the realization, I'm like, everybody's treating me the same way. What is going on? Because you told him everything. I even had a girlfriend said, well, he talked to you this way. Why can't I? And I'm like, is this girl for real? But yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we have to be very, very careful. So what do I do now when I have those situations? And I told at this retreat that I was speaking a couple of months ago, and I said, well, you know what I do now? I record myself. So when I'm angry with a situation, because I'm going to be angry.
It's going to happen.
But manage your actions. And so I get my recorder on my iPad, on my phone, and I just record. And just like, and it may seem crazy, but I just talk it out, and I just, really get aggressive and say what's on my mind. And 99% of the time, once I release, because all you want to do is release.
Yeah.
And then once I release it, I've let it go.
That's the most important. Because again, like you said, when you hold it in, it gets heavy. And it gets heavy, it's hard to walk around with that. So you got to have some release in some way. That's a healthy release.
That's right. No one can solve your problems. No one. No one can solve your problems. Why? It's your problem. And the problem that you are dealing with today is the problem you have to solve. Now, it's good if you want to have someone to talk about it that have experienced it, and they can tell you. I can only, as a coach or a counselor, I can only tell you basically the steps that I took that helped me through the process. I can listen and help you, guide you on some steps that I took. But you have to come to the realization that this is my problem and I need to solve it.
That's right.
But when trauma enters into the relationship, I mean, here it is, we're in love with one another, we're going along, everything is good, and then all of a sudden it's a difference of opinion, and she become retaliatory. I'm just going to, they say I become retaliatory. It's something else going on with me.
Yeah.
that I'm overreacting. Because if we form the oneness, I need to respect you and say, you know what, to you, MVP, I really didn't like the way you handled that situation. Can you tell me what was the motivation behind it? Or is this a good time? Because sometimes you could have had a challenge and did work. I need to know your trauma signs.
Yeah, the trauma signs.
I need to know that. I need to know those trauma signs, because if I know, you want to approach your husband as soon as he walk in, and then he could have had a hard, challenging day, and then here you come, and here that automatically brews an argument. I remember times that I've had some challenges with my students, and my son can say one word, and I'm just blowing up. Had nothing to do with the one word he said. It had everything to do with what I had to suppress to keep my job. So now I want to let it out.
He threw another log on the fire.
Exactly. Exactly.
But that all again comes back around to what you were saying, setting those boundaries at the beginning.
You have to set them at the beginning.
Yeah, because if the soldiers already invaded the fortress, you can't build the wall back up while they're still in there.
That's right.
You already let them in.
And I don't know what you don't like until you tell me.
Exactly.
I have no idea. We come from totally two different backgrounds, two different households, two different parents. It's no way that you're going to know what I am willing to tolerate and what I'm not willing to tolerate until I communicate it.
Oh yeah, I think people be mostly afraid to say it because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings.
Well, they don't want to lose the relationship because they're already attached and they don't want to lose that attachment. So sometimes they'll suppress it. And the only thing about suppressed anger, it's coming out. Something's going to happen. You're going to explode. And that's where most of the relationships end, is when the confrontation gets physical. And because people remember the word choices that were used, and most of the time we don't recover from that.
See, I'm glad you said it, because once you said that, it woke me up to like what I was thinking, because again, that was from the attachments in chapter 12.
Yeah.
Again, it says that relationships are the cornerstones of our lives. And also that, let me see. Oh yeah, good relationships determine our well-being, our health, and our success in life. And anyone beginning a new relationship should always see how their partner relates to the mother. It'll indicate how they will treat you.
That's right.
That one stuck out to me because, again,
right.
Because when you really know a person, how they treat their mama. If they yelling at their mama, talking to them all crazy, they're going to do the same to you.
Yeah, because the first bond you have is the attachment with your mother. And if you and your mother have a very challenging relationship, the model behavior from her behavior to you is going to play out in you in other relationships. So if you and your mother is not having a healthy relationship, it's going to be almost impossible for me to have a healthy relationship with you. I haven't resolved those issues with my mother. So I'm taking and bringing all of that trauma into a relationship with you.
They bring that baggage with you.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So here it is. Let's say you don't have trauma from yours, but now you do, because I just imparted it into you.
Oh, yeah, because you came from your situation.
That's right.
That's words, like you said, they stuck with you.
And Lord help us if he's traumatized and I'm traumatized and we have not started the healing process. That's war.
Oh, yeah, that's war.
That's what you call war. Hell on earth, because it's just, you're not going to be able to exist. So it's good to start the healing process, to get into oneness with yourself. And most people don't want that oneness. I remember when I used to go shopping, I had to have someone to go with me. I couldn't go to the movies by myself. I couldn't go out to dinner by myself because I came from a family of 5 siblings. And so I was always used to having someone around. I never knew how to be alone. But it's until you can get with the oneness within yourself, you'll never grow, and you're not fit to be in a relationship with someone else. You know why? Because if I'm this attached person all the time, that I easily attach to someone, I'm going to now be so attached to you that I'm going to want to know your whereabouts. You have no freedom. I think it is the most horrible, despicable thing that a person can do to another person is to put a track on their cars, their phones, or you here you are, you have what they call trackers on the phone.
Yeah, you got trackers on the phone. Like you got to track. You got to find my iPhone. Anything.
You know,
put an Apple tracker on somebody's car.
And the person cannot have any privacy. You're so insecure that you have to follow them everywhere they go. Do you know that if a person wants to do something, they're going to do it? And so, you know, I just find that totally unhealthy.
Oh, yeah.
But if and I noticed just being home for the 3 years from retirement and being able to get into oneness myself, I love it. It is so freeing. It is so freeing. And if someone called me and said, you know, hey, let's go out. Do you want to join me for lunch? I have a choice to say no.
That's right.
Whereas before, because I'm looking for someone other than the people in my house to be able to have I'm going every single time. And sometimes I didn't even enjoy it. Yeah. So now I'm like, no, I don't know. I'm just going to stay home.
That's that boundary. No,
yeah, sometimes I'll write or sometimes I might watch a little television or YouTube or whatever. But I'm into myself. And when you can get into that oneness, you got to get the workbook.
You got to get the workbook.
When you can get into oneness with yourself, and then a lot of the challenges that you face will be great. Because guess what? If you decide that you no longer want to be in a relationship with me, the very first thing that I'm going to feel a little pain. What am I feeling the pain from? The attachment.
The attachment, yep. Because like you said, it's like when you're in a relationship, it's shattering your world.
That's right.
It's completely taking away that safety what you was holding on to.
That's right. Because I've made you my world.
Yep.
But now if I'm in the oneness with myself and you say, you know what, I really don't want the relationship, I'll say, okay. Yeah. Okay, you know, it was good. Can we still remain friends? You know, call me on occasion. If it's okay, I can call you on occasion. Make sure that it's very seldom and then start the detoxing process of letting it go.
I'm glad you said that, because as soon as you said that, look, got me right here. This one, I just had to ask on this one. This one right here, it says that we tend to think all attachments. No, that's not the one. Hold on. No, we seldom think attachments are harmful because mistreatment is done in private.
That's right.
As soon as you said seldom, that's what that one really stuck out to me, because you don't know, because everything is done in private.
Yeah, everything is done in private. So you really know. You know, I used to go to the job and singing and so happy, but I was having some marital problems at home. No one knew that until I opened my mouth and said something. Right. But you know, I've even heard some of the people on my job that would say, "You're just too happy." And I'm like, this is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it.
That's right.
You know, and they didn't know that I might have had a knockout, drag out at home.
That's
Who
right.
cares? No one cares about that. So when I go on the job, they hired me to be a professor and to teach the students and to uplift them and encourage them so that they can have a great life. Not to come in there and I'm all edgy and upset. They didn't cause the situation. So why should I inflict that negative behavior on them? No, I'm not going to do that. And that comes with maturity. But yes, you know, hey, abuse is in private.
That's right.
It's very few people verbally abuse you openly or physically abuse you openly unless it's an altercation that they feel that could not be prevented. And that has a lot to do with the egos. So you're fighting egos. That's all that's about.
You're also fighting yourself too.
Exactly. Because
again, like you said, that's why you gotta be one with yourself, because it's hard to find yourself and be with somebody at the same time. That's right.
You have to find it before you enter into a relationship. And I would say you're not even, I'm not gonna say fit, but you're not qualified to be in any relationship until you have been alone for a period of time. Because when we come into this earth, we come in and we learn model behavior by the people that we're around. And so a lot of times you don't really even know who you are. 90% of the time you don't know who you are until you've taken that time to get to know who you are. That's right. And that's what the workbook is going to help you. Know who you are. Get strong in yourself. Feel confident in yourself. You've heard a lot of negative words in the past from other people. That's their description of you. You have your own ideology. You have your own self-reflection. And let that self-reflection be you, not some movie star, not someone in your family, but you. You have to learn how to come into oneness with you, or you'll leave this earth being someone that God did not create.
Ooh, that's that one right there. They ain't hit you. You missing something. That you got to bring that one down. Because if you ain't being who you are, you're not being who God intended you to be. He intended you to be who you are.
That's right.
That's why I gave His free will, so you don't have to be like somebody else.
That's
be like yourself.
That's right.
But again, you're doing yourself a disservice by not doing that.
You are.
But a lot of us are afraid to do that because, again, either by judgment or an attachment that might end because you being who you really are.
Well, let's talk about judgment. Who can judge you? Because in the Word it says, judge ye not, so that you won't be judged. Because with the same measure that you're judging that person, you will be inflicted with the same trauma. So the best thing to do is you can have difference of opinion, but that person has to be free to live their life as they so choose. Now, as a mother, if I see my son going in a direction that I once went in, that I got unfavorable results, I will tell him, but I'm going to tell him, just like what you said earlier, I'm going to I'm going to voice that in a way that I see where you're going, Greg, and I made the same decision. This was my outcome. I would like to see you not go that direction, but if you do, I want you to know that direction that you're going, the reaction, it's not going to be what you think it is.
What you think it is.
Some people have to just, like I say, just have to learn on their own, and what can I say? But you have to make sure that you understand that life can be very challenging if you make it.
If you make it, you making it hard.
This is your life. If you make it. If you're not happy with your life today, it's because you chose to not be happy. Some people feel as though I have to have $1 million to be happy. What about the 10,000 that you have that you get per year? Be happy with that. He said, if you are faithful in the little things, I'll make you ruler over much. And we all are not going to be brought up in families where they're making a huge 6-figure income. You with me? And I'm going to be honest with you. Most families that makes 8 figures and millionaires and billionaires, their children work hard. I worked with them when I was in college. They made them get summer jobs. They made them work. They made them budget. And so we here as baby boomers who are not billionaires, we want to give them everything. But the billionaires do not give their children everything until they have shown them a maturity level of earning a lot. You'll be surprised on how many billionaires do not leave a dime to their families.
That is very true. We just seen that with Jackie Chan said he wouldn't leave his kids anything.
No, why? I'm not going to leave you the money. I've given it to you all along, and I've seen your poor management behavior. You think I'm going to let you just what I worked so hard for? Do you honestly think that I'm going to allow you just to swindle? No, I'm going to give it to someone that's going to replenish the earth with it and cause the earth to be a better place to live. I'm not going to do that.
That's great perspective. I'm not going to do that. Because it's like again, they give you all access pass to do whatever you want.
That's right.
Whatever opportunity you want to do in life, you could do.
That's right.
And all you got to do is just ask and you can do it.
That's right. That's right.
Because they got the money and resources to give you. You want to go to school, we can get you to the best school.
That's right. But if we are faithful over the little things, and I've had people say, oh, you think you all of that now that you got to have this degree. Let me tell you right now, I have come from a humble beginning.
That's right, Tony.
Me and my siblings, me and my sister was on the phone a couple of years ago. We didn't even know we were poor because everyone in our environment was living the same lifestyle. And so what encouraged me to pursue academics is because that was my outlet from all of the screaming and howling and what I call was abuse in the household. So I retreated into my own world because I lived a lot in my mind. Right. So I retreated into my own world academically, and academically is what really helped me to be able to drown out the noise. That's right. Drown out the noise. And then I had a picture of where I wanted to be. I remember being a cheerleader. Went to my cheerleader sponsor's home. She invited us cheerleaders over, and when we drove up, I mean, I'm looking at this beautiful home, but I immediately became fixated on the beautiful roses, and then when I came into her home, she had a dishwasher, and I was washing dishes every night. And so I asked her, "What is the secret to your success?" And she said, "Getting a college education." And so from that moment, I changed. My friends didn't know that I changed then, but I had changed. My mindset changed because I no longer, I even told my dad, I said, I tell you right now, I'm going to get me a college education because I don't want to wash near dish ever.
Not never. That's right. That's it. But that light bulb hit you, you was like, yeah, this is what, that's it.
That was it. I had that moment, and that's what this book here. These books are. These books are to help you have that moment to where you said, you know what? And just like you, everyone that calls me and talk to me about how excited they are about the books have different chapters, and I just smile because you know everyone have their own chapters. So the book is 19 chapters long, and within the 19 chapters, there's one chapter that's going or more that's going to resonate with you. So and then you have this moment of change.
That clarity and change.
So now you no longer, because now that you've acquired the knowledge, you can use it and be a better person.
Because again, like you said, those words don't go anywhere, so you can't act like you ain't read that. Like, okay, I can't continue that like this.
That's right. And that's what the books were. I actually wrote the books for, is to help us change our mindsets and to heal from the trauma. And if you didn't incur trauma in childhood, you did incur trauma, because in the word it said, in this world we will have trials and tribulations. That means we will have pain and suffering. And that means we will get some form of trauma in our lives.
That's right. And look, you can even go simple back into childhood when your mama put you in a position where you had to watch your younger siblings. You might go in the easy bake oven, try to make them a little meal or something, and almost cut the house on fire. Mama came in right on time.
You really read that book.
That one got me because you said you used to dread on the weekend because you used to babysit, your siblings and the other kids in the neighborhood. I used to do the same thing. I would just babysit my brothers and babysit the kids on the weekends.
That's why I only had one child, because I had raised so many children before I got married. I wasn't going to have a lot of kids, and I just only had one child.
That one stuck with me, because like I said, and you got to read the book to understand that's where these stories is coming from, because she gives relatable situations of that little small thing of doing that, like you be in a position where you got to take care of your younger siblings, you become a parent.
That's right.
And you're a child.
That's right.
And then when your parents come at you like as a child, you like, why are you doing that? You put me in the parent position.
That's right.
Now you want to talk to me like a child.
Yeah, I got a chapter on that. It's called Parentification, and it talks about the oldest child taking, the parent role in a lot of situations. I'm going to say this right here for these books, and I know we're coming to the close here, but I'm going to say this. These books will help you in the healing process.
That's right.
It's going to be a chapter or more in this book right here. The title of the book is Childhood Scars, Release from Pain to Healing. You can purchase the book on Amazon. You can purchase the book through my website, auntiesand.com, or you can cash out me at $Sandra, capital G, Robertson, and I will autograph you a copy and send the books to you. You have to, and also you have to email me your address. And you can email me your address at sandrob3@verizon.net. Again, sandrob3@verizon.net. And so you need to get these books in your home. Yes. These books will help you to be able to understand life and get control of your life. And when you acquire that knowledge, it's power behind the knowledge, because the power helps you to transform into the woman or the man that you're supposed to be.
That's right.
And so we can get rid of these unhealthy attachments and to really live life to the fullest and enjoy life. That's Everyone says, how's retirement? I say, I don't know, I'm working, I'm writing books, I'm enjoying learning, writing books, doing the research and enjoying learning, and to be able to share my learning experiences with you.
That's right.
I'm Auntie Sand, Dr. Sandra Robertson, on my website if you need counseling, coaching. click on the button, and therefore you can actually have sessions with me if you really need the help. But get the books. Get the books
Please.
Right now,
These
and have that healing, healing where you start living a life full to the fullest, and that we can now pass this on to the next generation.
That's right.
And the next generation will not suffer the traumatic events that we once suffered. So I'm just excited.
That's right. Well, the trauma talk, y'all. We just get started.
We're gonna have more trauma talks and more visitors.
That's right.
So to help you heal from your traumatic experiences.
That's right.
Again, Dr. Sandra Robertson, and
come on, you know it's an MVP. Y'all know where to find me, y'all. Again, y'all need to get these books in your life, please do, because again, it's gonna help you become a better person and understand, more about yourself, so how you can get through them challenges in life that you might put there because you don't know really who you are.
That's right.
And then again, y'all, but look, if you learn anything today, again, we learn that again, all of us do suffer no matter what it looks like. You're suffering in some type of way. So once you understand that, it'll make your experience better in life. And again, with any attachment that you do have, you want to make sure it's a healthy one. And by doing that, set up your boundaries at the beginning, so that again they don't invade your wall, go through, and not your wall, so you won't know what to do going forward.
That's right.
But that's right, y'all. Again, Trauma Talk, y'all. We here. Stay tuned.
Here. Trauma Talks.
We got more coming, y'all. Let's go.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But again, stay blessed, don't stress. God to handle the rest.
All right.
Hey, until next time. Yeah. I was so happy to do this. I had no questions about it as well. I got to ask.
I'm glad you had those questions. I mean,